So I've seen this conversation going on between several people, and I think it's important that the community be aware of what they're discussing. It's the reason why some people have a bearish mindset in terms of ADA and BTC and the global crypto market in the near term. And I just want everybody to kind of be aware of what they're talking about. So before I get into that, I do have to say that obviously the ADA chart right now is fine. We did fall below our trend line that we set from basically back in November. We'll obviously see if this is just kind of a wick down for the day and then a move back up. But I want to tell everybody that these market cycles, they again are very similar to what we've seen in the past. They tend to stay consistent. They tend to play out in the same kind of time frame. I mean, even when we look at where we're heading towards the halving, you can see even this climb that we experienced late last year was in conjunction with something that we experienced during even the last market cycle. Now, obviously, one thing that's missing from our current structure is this big retracement. What we had back in 2020 was the COVID crash, unprecedented levels of uncertainty, major retracement across the market. We don't have that this time around. We don't have this major uncertainty. We don't have a big black swan event that affects global markets across the board. All right. We're in a lot better times than we were then. This is the big reason why I've said that we were not going through a retracement like this. People that are talking about 50% retracement in terms of ADA, again, this is why I've said I just simply don't see it. I think right now we're kind of in that opportunity time. Now, this isn't to say that there can't be retracements. Obviously, this is the trend that I think we're more likely to follow. I believe had we not had that big COVID crash here, it's likely that we would have done one of these, right? Just kind of climbed into the halving. Historically, you make your headway up moving into the halving, okay? Now, the reason why some people are talking about potential downside here in the short term, it has to do with BTC futures. Now, if everybody's not familiar, BTC futures, they do actually have open and close times, all right? Now, people have referenced this CME gap a bunch, all right? This is basically between 39.3. This is the level that people think we need to come back down. I think it's 39.3. 39.225. This is a historical thing that happens time and time again, all right? Usually when you have these CME gaps that are left open by open and closing of trading for BTC futures, typically you do have a retracement. You come back down, you test that before you begin your next leg up. You can see that happen back here when we created a CME gap back in mid-January. We came back down, we retested it in early March before extending to our next leg. You can see a similar kind of gap that we created here towards late March here. This happens time and time again. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't always play out that way, all right? It has a high level of consistency playing out that way, but it does not always do it. What happens is in times of more bullishness and times where you get further out from that CME gap, they're less likely to play out. Now, I have to say that this is not the longest time frame we've had on a CME gap. Right now, we can see that we are currently sitting at 30 bars, so 30 days of trading. The longest one I see in recent history was actually back in January of last year. And we actually had, I believe, 36 days before we did our retracement. So this may be something that is coming here in the near term. Now, again, this retracement that we experienced here had to do with the USDC DPEG. Again, a major black swan event in the market. So this may be one of those where we actually come down, and because of the catalyst that we've seen here recently, obviously spot Bitcoin ETF purchasing. We know that the FTX estate is running out of Bitcoin that they're dumping on the market. GBTC is going to be slowing down at some point too. It may be one of those where we do come and we close this CME gap before our next leg to the upside. It may be a very quick wick. It may not happen at all. And that's the thing, right? When we look at these trends here, we're still very much in a bullish stance. We've come down, we've retested this trend line on the BTC futures several times, and we're still showing strength. Now, I will say that this is an ascending broadening wedge. You guys can obviously see that in the charts right here. You can see that we are getting a little bit of bearish divergence on the futures chart. You can see that the RSI is in fact creating a downtrend while the price has been moving in an uptrend. So that's something that we have to contend with. Now, granted, not everybody looks at the BTC futures charts. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, guys. It's really tough to gauge what direction we're going to go here. Would not surprise me by stagnancy. If we do get that kind of pullback, I wouldn't be surprised by alts pulling back a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if ADA pulled back to this 46 cents range. But I want to remind everybody that when we look months down the road, these kind of retracements right now, they're really not going to matter. All right. We get to late 2024, even historically, we should be well on our way. All right. As always, this is not financial advice, but this is the discussions that some of the more complex discussions that people are having, the ranges that they say we need to go back and close. And could I see it? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe. It probably depends on obviously demand from these spot Bitcoin ETFs. It has to do with how soon, again, this FTX estate and the GBTC end up running out of BTC that they're dumping on the market. There's a lot of things to contend with right now. So I'm sure there's some short positions open. It would not surprise me at the same time if instead of, going down here and coming down and breaking below this trend line, if we did another wick to the upside on some short liquidations. But we'll obviously have to wait and see what happens. So I wanted to keep this as short as possible for you guys, but I appreciate you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.